goes.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Doc of All Trades. So this is the third video in this series of me logging down in Florida with my buddy Matt. There's going to be some cool footage in this video. You're going to see Matt drop a couple trees, including, I guess, the first bigger tree that he's ever taken down. He's done tons of little stuff on this property, but the reason why he brought me down to help out with this project is that he just didn't have experience with anything of substantial size. So that's why I was there giving him a hand, and in this video you'll get to see him take down a couple trees, in addition to me take down several more. Getting started right here with a tree that was leaning pretty hard out into the forest, and this tree also, several of the trees you're going to see on this video actually, or at least a few of them, were in this area where we just couldn't get the skid steer back there to get the logs. So it's going to be one of those situations where we just send him out into the forest, and then Matt can go out there and buck things up for firewood if he wants. He also he uses this 592 XP to mill logs with, and so he's got a little chainsaw mill, and so he can just go right out there into the forest where the trees are sitting and mill up some lumber out of these things. So most of it won't go to waste. Most of it will get used, and but you'll see a couple of these trees here today are just going to get sent right out into the bush and just kind of stay there until he can finish processing them. Everything that was sort of in the interior part of the property where potential building might go in the future, we were able to get the skid steer in there and get the logs bucked up into nice millable length for Matt. So we were bucking things into around a 9-foot length, and then he can get some good 8-foot lumber out of that. Right, so this tree is going to just go straight off the stump out into the forest. Again, it had a pretty good lean, and I bore cut it just to kind of have some fun. I didn't need to bore cut that tree, but I just decided to do that. There's not a lot of bore cutting that happens out west unless you got pretty good lean. So mostly I was bore cutting. There's so many of these trees that it was really necessary, but that one it wasn't. I was just doing it mostly just for fun. This tree right here, this next one, was leaning back really hard. This thing was leaning back, I don't know, 6 or 7 feet in the wrong direction, and the road is just out behind us. So you can see up there we put a rope in this one, and we had it tied off to some trees out there on the other side of the property, and we're able to get some pre-tension on it to help me bang wedges. But that tree was definitely one of the more challenging trees just because of that severe back lean. So put the rope on it to help make it easy. You can see the log deck there getting started. So that tree went down without too much problem.
That was incredible to be right there.
The view?
To see that. Because normally you just walk, you just aren't on that side.
Yeah.
Good. But it was cool that whole crown just exploded.
Mm-hmm.
All the dust and pollen, it was just the wind.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like a fucking 30-mile-an-hour wind gust. And it was delayed, but it was
All right, so this is an interesting couple of trees right here. You can see them. They're not really a co-dominant set, but just growing right near each other. And the one that I'm going to cut here first had a pretty good lean out into the property, so I went ahead and bore cut it. So I'm just going to send it off the stump right here, and then you'll see the next one coming up in just a second. But the next one was actually leaning back in the opposite direction. So the next one I put a wedge in and kind of pounded it up, and then went over without too much trouble. But that one right there had a pretty decent lean. So easy bore cut situation on that one. Just send it. Again, a bore cut on that probably wouldn't have been necessary, but this is my first time dealing with loblolly pine, which I don't think is real prone to barber chairing. But again, just any of these leaners, I was bore cutting them mostly just for safety's sake, just to make sure we didn't have any problems with them. Again, this one I've got a wedge in it. Had a little bit extra holding wood there on that side, and so just nibbled that holding wood out, and it's gonna go here in just a sec. So these trees were pretty straightforward, nothing crazy, but just kind of fun little set of trees to deal with, leaning in opposite directions, and luckily they weren't limb tied, so it made things relatively easy in that regard.
Perfect. Keep looking up. Look, Widowmaker coming down.
Oh yeah.
right, this next tree, I forgot to get the camera on when I was getting my undercut in, so you'll just see me show the undercut here real quick. And I was actually a little bit upset because I nailed that undercut just about perfect. So wish I would have got it on camera, but I didn't. This is another one of those trees kind of in that back part of the property that we're just sending out into the forest. Again, there's no way we could get the Bobcat over to this one to get it out without getting it stuck in this kind of a swampy area that's back behind us. So it's going to just go out into the forest, but another nice tree here. This is actually a really nice tree, real straight. I'm sure Matt can get some logs out of it and go mill them in place out there where it sits, but did have to throw a wedge in this a little bit. It didn't have a significant back lean, but it was just one of those that had just enough of a lean where I had to just put a little bit of lift on it to get it to go. But real fun tree. Pretty easy tree altogether. As I mentioned in some of my previous videos, you're running a 28-inch bar on this 592 XP. So this tree right here is about 20 inches in diameter. Again, all these trees are in that range roughly of being about 100 feet tall or so.
Stop. Oh, there. And that was that.
Yep.
I like these ones. Just nice. Looks good. Drop it in the forest.
You can deal with that shit later.
That's right. It doesn't even have to be dealt with.
Yeah.
It can just fucking turn into soil right there.
Yeah.
If I ever wanted to mill that, I could come back and mill that part of it.
What about this big one here?
Both these big ones have to go.
Okay. Let's dump this gum right there.
Okay.
Right through here.
You want me to do that one?
You can. Send it. Try to send it in between these, you know,
Okay.
that elm and the maple in the slot right here.
Okay.
Closer to the elm, I guess.
All right.
The batter just to stay away from any tie-ups.
So here's Matt getting ready to cut down this pine. It's a real snaky one. You can see up there at the top, really crooked, but it does have pretty much as straight up and down. It was difficult to judge whether it was going to have any type of trajectory one way or the other because of the way that top kind of snaked in different directions. And you'll see that when it comes down too. But again, this is Matt's first bigger tree, and you'll hear him say after he gets done cutting this, it's the biggest tree he's cut down yet. And he did a good job. He was real careful, real slow, took his time. I helped him get some wedges set up there, and when he was getting started with his back cut. But he did a great job, as you'll see. Sends it down right where it's supposed to be. Comes up a little short on his undercut here, so he's got a little Dutchman that he'll have to clean up on this side, on my side right here of the tree.
Clean up your Dutchman. Clean that up. You're good. There she goes. There she goes.
Yeah, they hit down harder.
Oh yeah.
That's good work there, huh?
Yep. Good job, Matt.
Thank you. I got a good teacher. That's probably the biggest tree I ever cut down.
What's that?
That's probably the biggest tree I've ever cut down.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Full throttle. Full speed ahead.
All right, everybody, so here I go, back on the stump. This is the third largest tree on this job. It's about 24-inch diameter on the stump, and had a nice open lane here now. We cleared out a bunch in front of this tree, and so nice open shot out in here into the middle of the clearing. Tree was leaning back just a little bit, so definitely had to pound some wedges on this one, and but no big deal. It was a pretty straightforward, easy tree to take down at this point. I mentioned before in one or two of the earlier videos, ran this 592 pretty much the entire time. I think there's only a couple trees that I cut down using Matt's little 50cc steel. I think it's a steel MS271 around the 50cc class. It was a good little saw. Not a bad saw at all. It was fun to run, and definitely real lightweight, easy to use. But man, doing these bigger trees, it was just so nice having the power of the 592.
Further on that side.
Yeah, no, I won't. It's sitting back. she's leaving. Woo! Just cut right up. Alrighty, bucket and chuck it.